Well, ladies and gentlemen, we lost Greedo glasses. It stopped raining. I opened the bag, they fell out, and I stepped on them. Greedo glasses are now a part of our history. Well, it started raining, so I've got to pull the cameras off now. Alright, so she said that I have to go to the Central proper, and it's on the second or third floor in Centro. So we'll see if we can find it there.
As I left Sakua, I wasn't really looking forward to the long drive ahead of me. I had many hours and many miles to put in today, and most of those would be through the mountains. After checking the weather, my mood became somber due to the probability of rain. A foreboding loomed over me. I wasn't prepared for the long drive mentally, nor was I prepared for the scenery I was about to encounter. To distract my mind, I soon turned to nostalgia.
Alright, I gotta put on my Greedo glasses here. What a beautiful day this is. So I was editing videos and I saw myself in these glasses and I was like, man, I really look like Greedo. Huh? Greedo, right? Greedo. I remember as a kid waiting to see Return of the Jedi. Man, it took forever for that movie to come out. Oh man, it was the greatest movie ever. I remember, oh, this is the greatest movie. And then Raiders of the Lost Ark came out. And then I was like, I am never going to have a job. I'm just going to search for ancient treasure. And look, I'm totally in an area now where I can just search for ancient treasure. Of course, I'd have no idea where to look. You know, you go 100 meters into the jungle and you've got dengue fever, yellow fever, malaria. I mean, you got a mess. But you know there's like some ancient pyramid nobody's ever seen somewhere there in that jungle. Finding it, I guess, is going to be difficult. Of course, that's why I can fly a paramotor over the jungle. Okay, so if I took a boat, yeah, hop on a boat, take the paramotor into the Amazon. I have an idea.
While contemplating becoming the next Indiana Jones and whittling through the small villages of the plains of Ecuador, my mood became inspired. I was on an adventure and I would embrace the day that was given to me. And as I transitioned between the plains and the hills, my mood became uplifted by the beauty that I would behold. But unfortunately, my uplifted spirit would soon be quenched by a phone call from home.
Well, I'm high up in the mountains now. We're at a peak of one of these mountains and I just stopped for gas. And I got a pretty sad phone call at the gas station while I was there. Seems my next door neighbor has died. Good man. His tractor would get stuck often, and he had a tractor from like the 1950s that he kept running. And that tractor was a beast, but Bud would kind of put it through its paces. That was his name, by the way, was Bud. He'd call me every once in a while because his tractor got stuck and I'd have to take my tractor out there and get him unstuck. Man, he was a good old guy. He was in his 80s, so he lived a long life. In his retirement days, he decided to pick up a job as a school bus driver. And he lost his job. They fired him because when kids would misbehave on the bus, he would just stop the bus and kick them off. Be like, hey, you can't behave on here, walk home. I think we need more people like that. Well, here's to you, bud. Enjoy your sleep.
Heading back down through the canyons of eastern Ecuador, I wondered why more adventure seekers didn't transverse this side of the country. The feeling of walking into the jungle just to discover cities left by the ancient ones was overwhelming. I felt like a child again with the rigor of discovery. This was truly a land begging for newcomers. Soon I would go back down into the plains and the heat indicative of being on the equator.
We've just left the town of San Francisco and we're heading back into the mountains. We've been going in the mountains, out of the mountains, in the mountains, out of the mountains. I knew this was kind of going to be the ride for the day. Continuing on, hopefully we won't hit this rain, because if we do, that's really going to set us behind. I say this often and I can't say it enough. Ecuador is gorgeous. Ecuador is just gorgeous. And you're getting to see a portion of Ecuador that's not touristy at all. The tourist part of Ecuador is middle and then to the coast. Middle is where all the mountains are, and of course the coast beach, you know. On this side, on the far east side, just east of us is the Amazon forest. Look at this ride. I mean, this is kind of what it's been the whole time, just in and out of the mountains. A lot of forest, a lot. And also a lot of rivers, like an incredible amount of rivers. Waterfalls, that kind of thing. It's beautiful here, it's just beautiful. Look at this kid. She's having fun. Well, it started raining, so I've got to pull the cameras off now to try to make sure that they don't get wet, obviously. So for now, I'm going to turn off the cameras. Another 2.5 hours still to go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we lost Greedo glasses. It stopped raining. I opened the bag, they fell out, and I stepped on them. Greedo glasses are now a part of our history, and we will forever grieve them. Yeah, well, sorry, Greedo glasses. You are no more. Alright, back on the road. Still more than 2 hours to go. And I am definitely going to run out of sunlight at this point.
There are a few things I've learned about traveling through South America. One of them is to make sure that policemen know that I have blue eyes. And when I'm too lazy to take off my gloves and muddle through my bag to show documents at check stops, I have learned that acting stupid will always save me a lot of time.
Licencia, su licencia, sus documentos. Documentos. Pasaporte. Okay.
Well, I've reached a pretty big town. We're still an hour and 15 out. And I was really considering of stopping here, but there is nowhere to fly. You can see all the mountains around us. Behind me, every side, we're in a bowl. So even if I could find a soccer field here or someplace to fly, the wind is not going to be good. So I think I'm going to continue on even in the dark because it's 5:30 now. We're definitely going to be driving in the dark here, as long as it's not raining and in the dark, but that doesn't look good, and that's the direction I'm going. So it's been raining on and off all day. What was that weird sound? I just heard a weird chiming sound. What was that?
In hindsight, continuing on in the dark was not a good idea. I got very lucky that I did not drop the motorcycle that evening, as the storms I would drive through were full of strong winds that almost blew me over many times. But in the interim, I would be greeted by a plethora of waterfalls and amazing scenery as I headed back into the mountains. And by the way, I still have no idea what that chiming sound was that came from my motorcycle's electronics. Knowing I was running out of daylight, I still decided to take the time to enjoy a piece of bread and coffee at a small cafe shadowed by a gorgeous waterfall. Many miles to go, and unaware of a storm that was approaching, I took too many minutes of leisure when I should have been driving. Nightfall was quickly overwhelming the day, and soon the cameras would be turned off as I fought vigorously to keep the motorcycle upright in the pounding wind. Finally, late that night, I arrived at my destination. Tired, cold, and hungry, I searched and found a hotel for the night. I just needed a warm bed and some sleep. The last few hours had been overwhelming. In the morning, I would walk the town. Tonight, I only wanted sleep. Well, I am now in the city of Loja. I've actually just stopped here to do some computer work and to get gas in the bike, sleep for the night, and then I'll be off to the next city. A friend of mine named JT wrote in the comments about the terrain map or the terrain layer on Google Maps. Looking at that, there is no way around the mountains from where I was in Pollo to where I need to go, which is Peru. So unfortunately, stuck in the mountains again, but I think just for the day. Tomorrow, I'm heading out on the other side of the Andes and going into Peru. In the meantime, I looked up the laws about filming in Peru, or filming in Ecuador rather, and I found a Reddit post that said, yeah, you can film as long as you want in public. But I found another Reddit post that says
No, actually you have to have people's permissions. So I don't know what the law is. So what I'm going to try to do is try to be as discreet as possible as I film, because I respect people's privacy, but I do want to show you the city central. Because at every country I go to, I grab something wooden from that country that's handmade, and I also grab a shot glass. Well, I found my wooden item, but I don't yet have my shot glass, so let's go see if we can find one somewhere in the city center.
While filming in the city, I kept the camera in my left hand, so please forgive the awkward camera angles.
Buenas. ¿Tú tienes vaso de chapito de Ecuador?
No, con logo de
¿Nada?
Ecuador no.
¿Dónde?
Pues ayer aquí, compa, aquí en la... ¿Qué aquí en la esquina?
Sí.
A Celcos.
Ok.
Ya, ahí puedes ahí encontrar.
Gracias, gracias. Hola. Necesito vaso de chapito de Ecuador. ¿Dónde?
Más acá arriba, pues. Que diga Ecuador, del lodito.
Sí, inscribió Ecuador un vaso de chapito.
¿Saben tener en el centro comercial en la parte del segundo piso? Aquí cruzo así en una... Es de color anaranjado con verdecito. Ahí en el segundo piso saben tener así cosas tradicionales.
En centro,
centro
pues,
comercial.
río y más, sí.
Sí, llega aquí, baja así, cruza el río y más allá una casita anaranjado con verde ahí.
Gracias,
Sí.
gracias.
Sí.
All right, so she said I have to go to the central proper, and it's on the second or third floor in Centro. So we'll see if we can find it there.
On the way to the Central Market, you pass a mini market where the indigenous people sell their fruits and vegetables that are gathered from the local farms in the area.
So if we're lucky, we'll find one in here somewhere.
I decided I would go ask the woman who had helped me earlier that morning to see if she could help me find the shot glass.
Hola, amiga. Necesita vaso de chapito de Ecuador. Inscribió Ecuador.
Ya, vasos.
Vaso de chapito.
Sí, sí, le entiendo. Sí, espera. Julie, Llámalo a tu papá por teléfono del peto, ya le tiene la información de los árboles, que lo está esperando.
Me doy 50 ya para hacer esto. Dígalo para los niños.
Verá.
Como te digo.
Esos vasos los consigue acá. ¿Qué está buscando, amigo? Ya lo voy a indicar.
Para poner chifles
Mira.
y...
Okay.
¿Cuánto yo?
This is what's cool about people. They are so very helpful.
Acá venden algunas artesanías. Aquí, sube esta grada, ahí donde está el maniquí.
Sí.
Ahí tienen vasos con figuras de Ecuador, justo donde el joven, ahí sí estoy.
Okay.
Ahí dígale que le indiquen los vasos con las figuras de Ecuador, ahí tiene de todo. Ahí vaya.
Gracias,
¿Ya?
gracias.
Que lo vaya.
Okay, so she said come up to the mannequin, turn left at the mannequin, and I can get anything inscribed on a piece of glass. So let's see if she's correct. Okay, go left. Wait a second. Here we go. Perfect. Yep. There's some shot glasses from Ecuador. Hola. Necesita vaso de chapito de Ecuador. Oh, lo siento. Niño es muy importante. Niño es muy importante. Okay, let's see what she has right here.
Tal vez así,
Sí.
o tal vez así.
Inscribe Aloha. ¿Tú tienes solo Ecuador?
Ah, solo de Ecuador. No,
No, solo Aloha Ecuador.
ajá.
Sí, es bueno. ¿Cuánto?
Los dos, $6.
¿6?
Ujú.
Ah, ok. ¿Por dos? ¿Por dos o uno? Por dos, ok.
Ya le pongo. También hay de 3.
No,
Solo quiere pequeñito.
necesitas uno.
Entonces ahí nomás.